Mikey Dread, Mother Nose, and Roxy Romeo. The only team keeping you lit in Philly.
Yo, it's the Rise and Grind Morning Show. Mother Nose, Roxy Romeo, and Mikey Dread. Our guest has finally arrived. She is in the studio. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Elemi.
I'm
How are you? What's going on with you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Good. Listen, man, the success is through the roof right now.
Yeah.
Congratulations on
Thank you.
everything.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Talk about your progression. What I didn't know about you
is that you have a whole sleeve of tattoos.
Oh, yeah. Well, not a whole sleeve, a half sleeve.
Well, half a sleeve.
Yeah.
But I had no idea. Did you know she had tattoos?
I had no clue at all.
You know what? I don't wear short sleeve t-shirts that much. I'm not a fan of the summer, so I dress for winter even though it will be like 90
Why
degrees
are you
outside.
not a fan of the summer?
I like the cold. I don't know. I'm a winter baby, maybe because I'm from London. Like it's just
Is it because fashion is better in the winter than it is in the summer?
No, it's just I can't with the heat. Like it's a lot. It's a lot to deal with, and I feel uncomfortable in the heat. So.
Well, you know it's going to be like 93 degrees today.
Yes, I do. I do know that. But I'll probably be inside for most of the day, so I'll be all right.
Okay.
Air conditioning.
Yes.
What I did not know about you is you were discovered on social media.
I was,
on
yeah, on
Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
How did that happen? Did someone just slide in your DMs like, you?
Yeah, basically. DJ Mustard found me. I was doing 15-second covers on Instagram, and quite a few of them went viral. And I think he saw the one that I did that was Tupac, Keep Your Head Up.
Yeah.
And he just DM'd me and was like, what's your situation? But I didn't have a situation. I just was singing in my bedroom. I worked in retail. I went to school for music. So, yeah, he slid in my DMs, and then
That's really like how it happened. You know, people dream of what has happened to you. Like people get on social media and say, I want to become a superstar. I want to become a singer. I want to become a rapper, and put their music out and hope and pray that it happens. And for you, it actually happened.
Yeah, I know. It's pretty insane. I think I was definitely one of those people before it happened to me that didn't really believe in like people getting signed off YouTube and stuff. I'm like, oh, there has to be like some type of something behind it. Like they just make it look like they got signed off of YouTube. But then it happened to me and I'm like, okay, no, this actually happens.
Right.
So yeah, it's definitely like, I still have to pinch myself and like, is this real?
How's the music relationship between you and DJ Mustard?
Amazing. I mean, he gives me a lot of creative control. He never makes me feel pressured to do something that like I don't want to do. He'll be like, here's some beats, or we'll start something from scratch. And he basically gives me, like, he's like, the ball's in your court. You tell me what you like, and we do it that way. He'll give suggestions and be like, oh, I like this, I like that. Maybe you should do this, maybe you should do that. But at the end of the day, like when it comes down to all of it, even with my EPs, like we made a whole bunch of songs, and then he was like, you decide the final track list because they're your songs. So he gives me a lot of creative control, which I'm lucky because a lot of people don't have that situation.
And how involved is he on your debut album?
Oh, very involved. He's executive producer. So yeah. He's always involved in everything. Even though on my debut album I work with other producers too, but I'm signed to him, so he has to be involved.
I have a question, and you correct me if I'm wrong with this. I had a conversation, I can't remember who it was with, but it was in reference to you and just other British artists. And they were telling me that in London or in the UK, you didn't really pop there. You popped here because the UK doesn't know what to do with an R&B singer.
Yeah.
Why is that?
I don't know. I think it was one, because I'm signed in America and I live in America now. So being in America, obviously it was just, I have an American label, I have an American team. So that's why I think it was easier for me to pop off her, even though it wasn't easy. But in England, the UK R&B scene is almost non-existent. Like there's a lot of people doing it, but like mainstream, it almost like isn't on the radio. You probably won't really hear R&B on the radio. It's a lot like pop driven. So if you sign to an English label, I always said if I was going to sign, I'd sign in America. So I feel like English labels always try to make any artist a pop artist, even though you can be soul, you can be R&B, you can be whatever. I feel like they don't really know what to do with R&B that well. So now that they've seen the success of Boot Up, I feel like hopefully they can see that there's a huge market for it. And Boot Up actually plays on the radio in England now, so that's a glimmer of hope. But yeah, it's been like that for a while, so hopefully it can change. It's changing a little bit, but yeah.
Let's talk about Booed Up.
Yes.
First of all, we have to give it up. It's the #1 song in the country.
Thank you.
And how was Booed Up chosen as your single?
I didn't even choose it. The people chose it. Honestly, we didn't know that Boot Up was going to be Boot Up. Like we put it out over a year and a half ago on my third EP, and it just kind of started bubbling on the radio. Big Von played it first, and then it started to pick up everywhere else in the country. But we didn't choose it. It was just what the people wanted. So that's how it ended up being chosen as a single.
What is the backstory on Boot Up? True story, not true story? Friend, happened to a friend, happened to you? Like, what's the backstory on the song?
It's a true story.
It's a true story?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's it? That's all we gonna get out of you?
We know that you are a very private person. I mean, we have seen some interviews with you. Why so private about? I mean, I think a lot of celebrities to a certain point want to be private about it, but you're all about the music right now.
I mean, I think I'm just like that as a person in general. Like, not a lot of people know my business. I'm just like that as a person, and I think, especially in this instance, like people will take stuff and run with it and turn it into something that it's not. So I'm just like, I'll keep that to myself.
As long as you can. As long as you can.
Yeah, basically.
How has life changed for you since Booed Up went to #1?
Yeah, it's been crazy. It's like, it almost feels like it was overnight, but it isn't overnight because I've been working hard for a long time. But yeah, it's just, everything is kind of different. I mean, I still have the same friends. Obviously, my family are super supportive, but just in everyday life, like being able to walk down the street and like look crazy because I'm always in like sweats and my hair's never done. So that kind of has to change a little bit now because people recognize me on the street. But in a sense of like myself, I feel like I'm still the same person.
Now, knowing that you had EPs out before Booed Up, did you envision this being your hit?
No, not at all. None of us did. None of my team, none of us. We actually, when I put Boot Up is on my third EP called Ready. And a week before we released Ready, we released a different song, which is called Anymore, as like the single for the EP. And although that is a popular song, we none of us expected it to be Boot Up. But I'm happy that it is Boot Up because Boot Up is so like positive and lovey-dovey and like innocent. So.
Now, how do you feel about all the remixes? Now, the official remix is with Nicki, right?
Nicki and Quavo, yeah.
But I know we're playing the remix with
Fabulous.
Fab.
Yeah. Everyone plays there's so many different ones. There's like, I know Plies did one, Fab did one, Dave East did one, T-Pain did one.
Right.
We had the official one. So there's like so many. I guess it's just depending on whatever. It's personal preference, right?
How did that feel to see all your peers and other people in the industry, hip hop and R&B, jump on it and just do a remix just because?
Yeah, it was amazing. Like when I first saw, I think Plies was the first one that I saw, and to have somebody just like love the song so much that they wanted to do their own rendition, and we didn't reach out or anything. I guess he loved the song so much that he wanted to do it. Was like I was like, wow, this is crazy because I grew, like. In my teenage years, I used to listen to Plies and then Fab, obviously, T-Pain. Like, yeah, it's crazy.
Wow.
Question. So did you always want to be a solo artist? Because I know in the beginning you were with a group.
Yeah. And
that obviously dissolved. Mm-hmm. So
I think I've always wanted to be a solo artist, but the group was just when I got into the group, I was in school for music, but I wasn't really doing anything as a solo artist anyway. So I was like, well, I'm not doing anything, so let me try it. Because at first I was opposed to it. I was like, I'm not going to be in a girl group because 3 girls together, 4 girls together, like that just sounds like a headache, right? But then I was like, you know what, I'm not doing anything, so let me try it. Because one of the girls I went to school with and the other girl, she lived close by to us. So I was like, let's just try it. And you never know what comes from it. We went on X Factor in England. That didn't work out. And after that, we just decided to go our separate ways. It was a mutual decision. But I think being in a girl group proved to me that this is really what I want to do, but I want to do it by myself.
Solo, right?
How was Trip selected as your second single?
Oh, Trip, I think it was just everyone we played it for. Trip is actually one of Mustard's favorites. So he was like, this has to be the second single, this has to be the second single. So I'm like, all right, let me live with it for a little bit. And then we played it for all these different people and everyone was like, they loved it. So I was like, okay, let's go with it. And I love the song too. It's like very special to me, so.
So with Trip being a second single and Boot Up being so successful, do you feel like there's a lot of pressure on you to perform on this next single? Because it's...
Yeah, you would think so.
Yeah.
I mean, I like from outside looking in, you would think so, but I don't actually feel pressured. Like I actually just found out that Trip debuted on the Hot 100 at 79. I found that out yesterday and it's only been out for a week.
Right.
So I'm like, I was very, very excited about that. But I don't feel the pressure. I feel like because we didn't know Boot Up was gonna do what it did, and it happened so organically, like by the people rather than like pushing it and making sure it's in people's faces. It's like people wanted the song in their face. I don't.
Because sometimes an artist comes out with a huge song and then they try to chase it and they try to chase it. And it's never attainable because it debuted or the song released so high, and sometimes it gets frustrating. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And people get defeated by it.
Yeah. No, I mean, if Trip doesn't do what Boo'd Up did, then I won't feel defeated. I still love it, and I think that's the main thing. Like Boo'd Up has done something that an R&B song hasn't done in so long. Right. That if I expect all of my songs to do what Boo'd Up did, it will be like, I don't want to say unrealistic, but that would be being very hard on myself. So I love Trip, and I hope that it does what Boo'd Up does, but it did, or is doing. But if it doesn't, then that's fine. I still love the song. So
I love Naked.
Thank you.
And I love 10,000 Hours.
Thank you.
Will 10,000 Hours resurface?
I don't know. We shall see. I mean, it's like 10,000 Hours is very old, right? It's almost 3 years old for me. And I still love the song. That's still one of my favorites to this day. But it's not like we're not going to re-release it as a single. So unless the people choose it like they chose Boo'd Up, then
it's a fan favorite.
Yeah, it definitely is. It definitely is.
That was I was like, can I get a vote in? Can the next single please be Naked? I love that song.
And the video, oh my gosh, I was watching the video. It's so stripped down. It made me take off my clothes. I'm just saying.
TMI.
Please.
You don't need to know that. Visual in our head. What's wrong with you?
Welcoming her to Philly and to the Rise of Crown Morning Show.
Lord, mother.
So I heard that you got a call from a huge VIP.
I did.
So I'm wondering, does that mean like there's a potential duet between the two of you?
I hope so. Yeah, Stevie Wonder called me the other day, and it even sounds crazy to even say like Stevie Wonder called me. But yeah, I hope so. He called me to tell me how much he loves the song, and he was actually singing the song to me, which was another insane thing. Like, how is Stevie Wonder singing Boo'd Up right now? It was really crazy. But yeah, no, I hope so. I hope.
Have you met him before in person?
I haven't met him yet. Okay. No. So yeah, on the phone was the first time I spoke to him, but I'm sure I will soon. I hope I do.
Yo, chill with the station that holds you down with the hottest hip hop and R&B joints. It's Philly's Power 99 FM.